All right, everybody, welcome back to the Go Deeper podcast. And this one is going to be a good one because we are talking about overcoming the hard. And boy, have I had a lot of
Yeah.
the overcoming the hard. And
I-
so have you.
We've had both our fair share, childhood on, but let's talk about probably like the one of the hardest things you and I have ever been through 1 year into our relationship,
Oh, gosh.
which was just not a good place anyways. I just moved here. We were together about a year, and it's like the world fell apart. The world was already falling apart.
This is 2008 into 2009 when the financials are crashing.
Yeah, financials were crashing. I was getting started in real estate, selling 0 houses. You were starting a gym, tanning salon business.
It started at the end of 06.
We both
Transition into 07. I'm opening up the new side of it was open when I met you.
Yeah.
We met in 08. Expanding my gym, literally, as we've talked about before, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And keep going.
our relationship was not great by any stretch of the imagination. I was ready to kill you a few times. I
Do we
remember
need to talk about that?
my best friend got married. You were at the beach. It was just not healthy.
Well, hang on. Let's just make sure if somebody's not watched the past episodes.
Okay.
At the time, I'm 23 going into 24. You're 25, 26. And I don't know if neither one of us were ready for each other.
No.
Amber had just gotten out of a long relationship. She
Yeah.
moved to a place she'd never been.
You were the first person I even met.
She's the first person.
Here.
I had just gotten out of a couple relationships. I didn't really in my mind want to be with anybody. I am telling her that from the very time I met her, even though me and her together pretty much every day at that point.
But we were friends.
Yeah.
I mean, like we talked about hard stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so we knew like what we came from.
I think we were probably at the time better friends than together.
Yeah, I would agree.
But you didn't have a lot of anybody else.
No.
And like I said, I'm telling her the truth.
Yeah, you were telling me it still hurt. And I was creating this like wall between me and you.
And I think I'm trying to create a wall.
Yeah, you
in
were.
a sense
We're
because
trying
I'm
to
like,
build a wall.
hey, I mean, to go back to what she said, I go to the beach every year. I didn't vacation at all, if you remember.
No.
And then I would go to the beach for 4, 5, 6 days every single year with one of my best friends, and we would go party, go to whatever we were doing. We'd typically go to the gym, go to the beach, party at night.
You were like, what's that show?
Yeah, Jersey Shore,
Yeah, the Jersey Shore.
Real World.
Gym, tan, laundry, or whatever.
Yeah.
Party.
That's what we did for a few
Yeah.
days, and then we'd come home and work our ass off again. And Amber was just in the mix of that. And honestly, I mean, I'll say it on camera, and she knows this. Like that point in time in my life, I didn't even realize how chaotic it was. I felt the need to be. I was in the nightclub business. I felt the need to thinking I need to provide for my whole family.
You were living in your emotions. You weren't living life with like morals and a moral compass and values.
Yeah.
You were just living emotional all the time. You were high, low, everything in between. You were young. Your hormones were all over the place. You had a lot of extra stress on you. You were living fast. I remember our one friend kept coming into you like, Slim, slow down. I mean, do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think sometimes you can start to live so fast and you don't have that like center grounding point to keep you aligned to who it is you want to be. And you just start living how the world wants you to be. And really that's what happened to you. You were living with so much pressure. You were striving to be this amazing bodybuilder. I remember sitting in the office at the nightclub and your dad being like, Steven, you're a businessman. And so
Yeah, he would.
shit hit the fans.
Yeah, so my dad would always tell me I'm a businessman, and I knew that.
Yeah.
And
All you wanted to be was like a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah, but
like you were so
in
into
my
yourself.
brain, I'm in the zone that I am going to be on that Olympia stage. I went
Yeah.
in 2007 before I met Amber. I come back from that so fired up. From 2008, I'd done states. I placed third. To 09, I was a different animal, if you remember.
Yeah.
And so I just competed in 09, looked great, placed second.
Right before I met you, you had competed too.
Well, I'd compete. I was third
Yeah.
that year. And I'm like, oh, man. So,
And you competed in 09?
yeah.
Okay.
So competed in 09 3 times. You competed with me for
Yeah.
the first time.
Okay.
So at that particular time, I've got it in my head that I'm going to be a competitive bodybuilder. And to be a competitive bodybuilder, you have to do some things that are now
Supplementation.
some supplementation, we'll word it, that now is very no problem. Go to the doctor, this and that, but it wasn't really available like that back then.
No, but in the bodybuilding world, it's common.
It's
I mean,
super
it's
common.
just second nature.
And I hate to
It's,
say this, guys, for anybody listening, I was very ashamed about this. I personally didn't even want to make this podcast.
Yeah.
And when I say I was ashamed, this happens in NFL,
Yeah.
all different sports, but
any probably high level sport.
yeah,
they're
any
using
high level sports.
supplementation at some
But
level
I
to
was,
enhance
and
themselves.
I'm just going to put it this way:
Yeah.
I was living the wrong way, and what I mean by
Yeah.
that, I was treating girls the wrong way. I was just running fast, barely sleeping, driving cars that I really couldn't afford. The outer public appearance thinks I'm this baller with money.
You were living worldly. You were
Probably-
living for the world.
I almost feel like people thought like I'm doing this or doing this to make money. In reality, did I have money?
No.
Not like that, like people thought.
You did well, but it was
Yeah.
like in one hand out the other.
Yeah,
in one
yeah.
hand out
I'm
the
trying
other.
to build business.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, I will never forget this. I had been working my ass off, and I had sold a car before I met Amber, a Corvette, if you remember, and they had put Corvette on 0% interest. This is when the world is shit, and this should have been the sign, if you remember.
I think looking back, it's always easy to see all the signs, but when you're living in the moment and your emotions are high, you're not paying attention.
Right. And so I'll never forget, my buddy James, who was my dad's father, got me a brand new Corvette, and I was so excited. You pushed me to get the car.
I'm
So
like,
it's
you
a
deserve this. You're working hard.
brand new black Z06. I mean, we're working nonstop. And so I'm bodybuilding. I just, I had qualified for nationals. Man, I'm going to compete next year and I'm going to win it. Like that was my mindset. And at that point you go like from a lower level show to the next show to then qualify to get your pro card. So I was qualified to get my pro card. Did I think, honestly, looking back, I was the best bodybuilder? No, I probably would have been a top.
You're too tall.
Yeah, top 20 guy at best. But at the end of the day, it still would have been cool. It's still in the back of my head. Like, could I have been a pro? Yeah, but what would I have done? So I'm thankful that I went a certain way towards business. But we buy this car. This is day one. I will never forget it as long as I live. I lived in a townhome. Me and Amber pull in the townhome. We walk inside of my townhome. And
it's raining.
It's
raining in the dining room.
The water heater had flooded, and it is pouring in my not my living room, my dining room.
We like touched the ceiling and this with a broom, and the ceiling collapsed, and like water was gushing everywhere.
Yep.
And I was like, we shouldn't have bought the car. This is God telling us we
So
shouldn't have bought the car.
Shortly after this, and I'm just going to put it in because I don't even want to get into it. It's laughable now.
Yeah, I want to get into it a little bit because I think people need to feel like the emotion and the heaviness of it and like how serious it kind of was.
We get into some serious shit.
Yeah. You're on the treadmill with Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk outside and you're taking the trash out and I can like remember it.
Yeah, but I don't want to. That could be a 2, 3, 4 hour story.
Okay.
But I'm just going to put it to you like this. We get into some serious shit. They talk about could be going to jail shit. And I think we're both at the time starstruck. That is this really happening?
Shocked. I don't think it's starstruck. It's
shocked. And
your body goes into shock.
yeah, I mean, it's hard for me even to talk about still. And y'all, we're talking, I mean, damn, this is, this is
16 years
16 years ago, going on 17 years ago. And so we just met. We've
been
now
together about a year. So imagine being together by a year. Our relationship is not good.
Yeah, no.
Not healthy. Our businesses are ground root zero and launch phase. So financially, we're not in a good place. And now we find ourselves in at the time, it was like devastating, almost like life-ending situation.
And let's go back for a second. What we think is laughable now, it was so heavy.
Heavy and like made me sick and have anxiety, and we were working to like just keep our head in a good
We're
space.
working nonstop. We don't know what's going to happen. They don't even know what to do because I'm a competitive bodybuilder that's driving flashy cars that I think that
owns a nightclub.
Yeah, I think they think me and my father are what the kingpins.
Yeah.
And I've never done nor sold a drug in my life.
And I'm just the innocent girlfriend,
And Amber's the innocent girlfriend. And
but also in a very hard
to
situation.
wrap that part of the story up, because I want to go into like the other parts, it was such a dreadful time.
How did we feel at that time? Like
I
we were humiliated. We were on the front page of the paper.
ashamed. It's just hard because the world will paint a picture of you that's not true. And when it all happened to me, when it all happened, everybody ran from me. Like I was like just like,
Yeah, we had friends like calling us on private. We had people that were our closest friends who like disappeared out of our life. And it was the people, I mean, I can still tell you like the handful of people that like came and showed up who weren't even close to us, who just said like, you'll get through this. It's going to be okay. But during that time frame, I shouldn't be crying. He should be the one crying more. But I mean, I went through it too.
yeah.
We had no money. My dad moved back to Ohio. We were struggling to get the businesses
And
going.
hang on, speak about that, because your father, who's just hard nosed,
Oh yeah,
he
my dad is hardcore to the day that he
he
died.
looked at me and he said,
Let's talk about. We had to call. He had to call me.
"No,
Okay.
not that." I just he looked at me and he was like, "Figure it out." I think your father knew I was a good guy, and what the picture was painted was not true.
Yeah.
Because your father was rough around the edges.
But he also was somebody like if you mess up, you handle it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You take the responsibility.
He didn't
use it
offer
for
a
good,
penny.
not a dime. And he says you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You got yourself in this situation. You're gonna figure it out.
So to paint a
and
picture,
that's tough love. And
Yeah.
I think that's where I've learned how to maybe like emotionally. You know, we didn't want to go so deep into this, but the moral of the story is like we've been through hard. You can allow your emotions to take you one way or the other. And what that hard time did for us was it made us stronger together. We went, and it wasn't like a month, it was 2 years.
almost 2 years.
This drug out
and what,
over our life.
What people don't realize, and what was so hard for me, is now I've got all these bills stacking
Yeah.
up that I'm literally
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
robbing this person to pay this person to pay this person to like never get ahead. And there's so many favors,
Yeah.
family favors. And when I say
Yeah.
family favors, like this one particular gentleman who was a family of my father's, he's helping me move gym equipment free of charge.
Yeah.
This other guy gives us this skid steer. And these are the only ways that I'm able to pay my bills during this time. But I'll never forget this as long as I live. When it was all settled, and it was all settled, if you remember, I'm training Debbie, and I'm training 3 women. And I trained
And they were like in their
60s,
60s
and 70s.
and 70s.
And
But they loved you.
in the paper
Yeah.
painted a picture of me.
Oh, yeah.
That was not true.
And this happened again after it was all settled.
That literally was, I couldn't even believe there was no reason for them to post anything.
No, and I think the papers do stuff for news stuff, and you
For clicks.
For clicks. You
Now
were
it's
clicky
social
because
media,
if
but this is the
people-
newspaper back in the day.
People knew who you were.
Yeah.
They knew the nightclub. They knew you owned businesses, and I feel like you were just an easy target.
But
that
so-
you should never. So at that point in time, we could have lived in our emotions and allowed it to suppress us, and allow it to just make us numb, and allow us to just go off the deep end. But instead, like we united, it's made us had a very strong. Like if we can get through that, we can get through absolutely anything.
So,
but what birthed in that time frame to give people a time frame? This was
so-
09. This
so-
happened.
We got free of the charges,
Yeah.
and basically nothing happened.
Right.
Thank God. And we were good people. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'll never forget this. I'm then put on the front page of the paper
Again.
the next day.
Yeah.
And now I'm like ashamed again and don't
Yeah.
even want to walk into my own business.
Yeah.
I'm
It
like,
made us want to just hide.
yeah, I'm like,
to be
what?
quite
And-
honest
and,
with
and I
you.
had to train these 3 women, and I'll never forget it. And I'm like, and a lot of people in the community didn't even know what was going on,
No,
really.
no.
But the people who did 90% of them turned their back, wouldn't even look at us like we're scum.
Yeah.
And we are like, this is why I've just always have a heart for people who've messed up. And so I'm like, I've never done anything wrong in my life. And what I was doing
Yeah, was not hurting anybody
was
else.
not wrong
No.
in my eyes. The only thing I was doing was competitive bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But I put my big boy pants on and walked into my gym that I was just opening
Breathe.
that was losing money every single month. And so I'm like, God, I got to go train these women. I don't even want to show my face. They're trainers on the paper. And
They're the demographic that reads the paper too. So you knew
yeah,
they read the
and I
paper.
walk in and I will never forget, they pulled me out in the hallway of the gym and they were like, they just give me this biggest hug. And they were like, Steven, why did you not tell us what was going on? And I'm like, and I just sat and bawled crying and they're hugging me like mothers, just consoling me and being like, Steven, everybody messes up. Like, we don't even need to know what happened. I'm explaining to them that like what's said in the paper is not the exact truth and this and that. They didn't care because they loved me. And regardless if I had messed up or not, they supported me.
Yep.
And
They truly knew who you were.
yeah, and it wasn't what was said. And so at that point, I had a relief, and I swear, when all this happened, I'll never forget. This is 2009. I just looked up at God, and I was like, God, if you get out of this shit, I will never do anything in the gray area. I don't want to. I'm not that guy.
No.
But what it was, honestly, and by the way, I haven't 16 years later ever done anything in the
No.
gray that I think is in the gray. But secondly, I truly think it was a way of God humbling me because I was on a downward spiral from women, nightclub, business, probably, and you can say this, probably being a little, I'm walking around at the time 285
You were
pounds.
living in your ego and you were very cocky and you were living very worldly.
Yeah.
Like you everything you were doing was like feeding your ego.
Yeah.
And I think God humbled us both. He brought us down. I think the best place you can ever meet God is when you're broken.
Yeah.
And I think it allowed you to surrender. It allowed you to set that ego aside. It allowed you to like dive deep and ask yourself like, who is important? What is important? Because a lot of the people that were in your life for the glamour were not in your life for the hard.
Yeah.
And it makes you really realize like who loves you and who's here for you and not just here for the life that you can give them.
Right.
And that hurts deeply. But it also, I think, gives you so much clarity. And I think the beautiful things that have came out of that hard moment is our relationship and our strength in our relationship. Our businesses were birthed in those moments because all we did was put our head down and grind and work and build our businesses.
When somebody tells me that they're going through the hard
Yeah.
and they really don't know me, don't know my story,
Right.
don't know what I've been through, and I look them in the eyes and like, I've walked through the fire of hell.
Yeah.
That you don't even realize it. Those are the moments. For instance, if I think back, and my wife's right here in front of me, and we've talked about this many times, but and she knows the crazy part is when I met Amber, I was an open book. I told her everything.
Yeah.
Every girl I'd been with, what I had done wrong, what I was good at, this, that, and I don't know why that I was telling her all this.
Me
I
neither.
just wanted to be. She didn't want to hear it.
No.
But looking back, I've
Yeah.
got this beautiful young woman right in front of me, but I'm so used to whatever girl, blonde, brunette, redhead, Asian, Mexican, whatever, throwing themselves at me that
Yeah.
I was being a part of me that wasn't Steven.
Right. You were living for other people. You were living for the world.
Yeah.
You weren't living for you.
Like, oh, all the guys would love to be this. Steven, you can have whatever girl you want.
That doesn't, you never were happy and peaceful though in those moments
No,
of life. You lived
no.
with anxiety, and whenever you're living for the world and you're living to appease other people, you're living reckless. You're never going to feel fulfilled. It may make your ego feel good in front of your homeboys, but it doesn't make you feel good at night.
No.
But that's
I
where
would never go
God
back to that.
humbled you.
Yeah.
And that's, I think a lot of people can probably find, maybe not to the extremes we were living in, but people can find themselves living outside of what God has planned for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's never a good, peaceful place. But I believe through, if you look in the Bible everybody that was used for a purpose went through something very, very hard. And I think even like this podcast is birthed, it gave us wisdom, it gave us knowledge, it gave us a work ethic, it gave us a platform, it helped us build
Yeah,
businesses.
we couldn't do this podcast without going through the hard.
And I think when you look back over life, you know, yeah, I'm grateful for all of our wins, but I'm now most grateful for all of the hard times because they made us who we are today.
Let's talk about this. A lot of people have asked me before,
Yeah.
you know, and in my office, one-on-one, I've told people some of my story
Yep.
that I used to be very ashamed of, even though nothing technically happened.
Yeah.
It did not impair my life, but I had 2 years of living in hell.
Yeah.
And probably over the past several years, I will look somebody dead in the eyes and I'll say, listen, that knows a little bit about me. I'm like, that is the best thing that ever happened to me. From 2009 to now, we're about to be in 2026.
Yeah.
I put my head down. I become a different person. I become, excuse my language, a fucking beast when it comes to business, relationships. Just if I shake a hand, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
I will work whatever it takes to get the job done. And I feel like when people meet me, or even hopefully they can convey this through the podcast, they know that I'm a real, raw, blunt person, but I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to fucking talk behind your back. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's so much two-face in the world.
I think that hard situation made you a really good man.
Well, I hope so. Because
But that's the beauty of
I
it.
wouldn't
think
want to go
sometimes we
through it
don't
again.
know. I don't think you realize that in the moment, but like the hard times make you good if you allow them to. And I think that's where we are a little bit different. You're a lot, I mean, both look emotional today. Sorry. You're a lot more emotional than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I learned at a young age to control my emotions just because of my trauma that I went through. But living in your emotions can paralyze you,
Yeah.
especially in a hard time like that. That honestly can be the make or break for a lot of people. We could have easily reverted to like drugs, alcohol, separated. It could have destroyed our life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you allow emotions to rule your world, that is what happened.
Well, we had two choices. We're going to go home, cry, suffer, and lose everything we got,
Yeah.
which wasn't much at the time.
Right.
Or we're going to figure it out, grind, make shit happen. The first thing we did, if you remember, I sold the Corvette.
Yep.
We basically, if you remember, I started selling my own gym equipment.
Yep. What was birthed during this?
So yeah, so I was already selling gym equipment.
Yeah.
But during this time, and no one knew that my gym equipment, if I made $100, $200, was really helping me fund my life, our groceries, just everything. I mean, we're working all these oddball jobs. And during that time period, that really made me turn up the advertisement.
Yeah.
Everything.
We moved the gym.
Yeah.
So not only did you grow the gym equipment business, we moved the gym and grew the gym. I went from selling 0 houses a year to 65 houses a year really quick. We didn't. And I think sometimes when I'm coaching or mentoring the girls on my team, they haven't been through the hard, and I don't want them to go through what we went to, but at some point in time, like the hard serves you so well. And we've had this episode before, but like, don't compare your life to mine. Would you walk through what we went through to get what we have today?
I'll tell y'all, most people would not even, if there was 10 million on the side, you would still not want to walk through what we went through. And I am by no means tooting our horn. I would not want to walk through it again if I had the choice. But I will tell you, the struggle is what makes the man or woman. The struggle is what takes you, in my opinion, to the next level. Or
you don't grow when things are good.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger said this in his documentary. Or the struggle, something can take you the opposite way.
Yeah. It's your emotions. Your emotions grab hold of you.
Right.
Your emotions control and can rule and ruin or make your life soar.
We are in a sedated world.
Yeah.
That drugs, alcohol, sex rules.
People numb their emotions.
They're numb their emotions. And at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer, put your head down, grind.
Yeah.
I love the coaches of my son's football.
Yeah.
They're doing the hard. They're doing the shit I done 30 plus years ago. I did not grow up with participation awards.
Nope.
Second sucked. Your father
Oh, yeah.
used to say second in racing is the last, the next to
One
last.
was the only option with my
Yeah.
dad.
And her father was a man of few words.
Yeah.
And
But that stuff mattered to
that's
him.
how I was raised. And you call it hardcore, you call it whatever you want, but I'm a firm believer that if we all get a pat on the back every day, we're going to go through the motions.
Well, it enables people.
Right.
I think, love, accountability is the highest form of love, and keeping you accountable. That situation of hard made us accountable without a choice or a shadow of doubt. Coaching, mentoring, parenting, all has to bring that same sort of accountability to the table. So you don't go do the hard stuff and create hard for yourself. You're either going to create hard by being accountable, or you're going to create hard by creating a bad situation. Either one of the two are going to happen.
But I want to touch on this, Amber. We also, during that awful time period of our life, which probably was one of the best time periods for our life for future,
1,000%.
made us also realize how shitty the world is.
Oh, yeah.
How you cannot judge a book by its cover.
I would say we're probably some of the most protected people, meaning like me and you protect ourselves.
Right. But why is that?
Because people hurt
Because
you.
we saw people shun us
Yeah.
for no reason, shun us for, we had never even done business with them.
Yeah.
They're turning like and it's so funny because about 5 years after all this, I remember starting to do police departments and sheriff's departments all over the world, building equipment for them and all this, and becoming friends with some of the guys. And I've always had a big police population at my gym who are friends with mine, who know my story and all this. And I've talked to them about it and all this. And these guys are my friends. But the person who typically, what does that signify? Well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That you're being a hypocritical Christian, in my opinion, because we all have messed up.
Everybody has sinned. And I think the most beautiful thing is like grace, forgiveness, surrendering, and working through the hard times. There's the Bible verse of like, how do you throw stones at somebody else?
Right.
When,
I think that,
when you can't throw stones.
I think for as shitty as it was probably one of the best things that not only ever happened to us, but like for our relationship, for our business, for our financials, because it taught us at any given time, we can put our head down and grind. But it also told me not to be scared.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and that probably could be another whole podcast, the scarcity of the mind will
Living
limit
in
you
fear.
for everything. How many people do you know, oh, I'm scared to put on a bathing suit at the beach?
Yeah.
But they're not taking action to eat better, to work out, to go walk the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, the fear of judgment of what people are going to
Right.
say. But it keeps them from living the life that God has planned for them. Like,
Correct.
You're not going to go enjoy your grandkids because how you look in a bathing suit. Like, that doesn't make sense.
I agree.
But, at that point in time, to take it back to it, at that point in time, we were living reckless. Life got hard. But it really started the foundation for us to have such a strong marriage, such strong, purposeful, passionate businesses. It allowed us to become really, like, I feel like God put us in that situation for a reason.
Oh, I definitely feel like this is exactly what happened. Boom! Like he hit me with a
You
baseball
want to live
bat.
this big life? This is what it looks like first. And I think that's the truth. Like, you want to create greatness, you got to go through hard stuff first. It's the truth. It doesn't just, you don't achieve greatness by saying, I'm going to be great. No, I'm going to put you through this hard thing and see if you're willing to do what it takes to be great and withstand what you're going
I'll say this.
need to withstand
When you're stripped
of everything,
of your cars that you just bought that you have to sell, your every dollar that you already have no money, and now you basically really have no money because now you have all these other expenses, and you feel like you have a black spot over you.
it was our freedom.
Basically,
taken.
yeah, our freedom was taken without taking it.
Yeah.
We were never put in jail, anything like this.
Thanks God.
But it was the stigma over our head. That was one of the most just traumatizing times. And when you're living with no money
Yeah.
and you have all these debts, even looking back, I don't know if you remember, I called my mother,
Yeah.
and my mom does not have money like this. And my parents are probably mad as hell at me.
Yeah.
And my mom don't understand, and my mom and dad didn't support bodybuilding. They did not tell me
They
not to
just
do
saw
it.
more for you,
Yeah,
is what it
they
was.
just
They were
didn't
just being
like
good
me.
parents.
They didn't like me going through the diet and feeling like shit
They
and
knew,
all the.
they saw you living reckless. I mean, imagine
Yeah,
if we would see
yeah.
Manny living like that. You're going to
Yeah,
get him
I
right too.
can't,
It's just, you can't fault them for
no, I
that.
can't fault them. But I'm on the phone with my mom, and I don't have a dollar to my name. My credit cards are maxed out, and I'm literally posting my own equipment to sell. And my mom says, "Honey,
You needed money for rent.
I have, I had to call my landlord. My rent was $3,800, and tell him that I'm going to be late. I'd never been late. I'm not that guy. I ain't late ever." And he says, I told him, I said, "Just give me a few days, Tom."
Yep.
I was so grateful. He said, "No problem." And I don't even know how I'm going. And talking on the phone with my mom, I'm just probably depressed, just all the things. And I had just competed. My hormones are
Yeah.
probably all messed up. And next thing I know, my mother's like, "Honey, I have $1,200 in I think in a drawer or something. Come get it." And I was like, "Mom, I'm not taking your money." And she was like, "Honey, I know you'll pay me back." And I never took $1 from my mom. I had been working since I was young, so my mom didn't have to pay for some of our stuff. And I went and got that $1,200, and I'll never forget it. Because that $1,200 to me at the time was like somebody giving me $1,000,000. And I took that $1,200, and then I made $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, whatever the number.
Think
And
about what else your dad did for you during that time. I mean,
so
you guys would like fly. I mean, you still do this to me today. We're like, you're never going to believe what we're going to go do. We're going to go to fly to California.
so
And your
during
dad
the
would give
so
you tens of thousands of
so
dollars to front you.
during the time period, my dad he don't have a lot of money like that either. And maybe after all this happened, this is during we don't know exactly what's going to happen to us. I'm transitioning the gym,
Yeah.
and this is probably God laughing that he put me through hell, and he's blessing me. And I found this tanning salon that a guy had passed away, and the partner, I forget how it worked. It was so many years ago, but it's in California. And I call my dad at like midnight,
Yep.
and I'm like, "Dad, you're not going to believe this. I want to buy this tanning salon." My dad thinks I'm effing crazy.
But he'll always support you
But
even when you're
dad said,
crazy.
I said, "Dad, I need some money." Dad's like, "I don't have it." Dad does have it, but not to use for that.
Right. We were still operating businesses.
Right. And dad says, "How long till you could pay me back?" And I said, "I don't know, Dad. I'm selling all the equipment out of the old gym as I'm transitioning.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I can make it back quick. I'm going to sell all my old tanning beds, if you remember, to replace them with these." But guys, this was a gamble.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had no idea.
And the economy
To
was
be
just
truthful, but
getting back on its feet a
but
little
not
bit.
really.
Not really.
Not
I
really.
mean, this was 10, 11.
And literally, like my dad within 5-10 minutes is like, "Okay, let me call Jeff Perry, and we'll figure it out." We fly to California, crate up a whole freaking that. By the way, I stole this tanning salon.
Yeah.
It was the best deal ever. It was like
Yeah.
a fire sale. There was so many deals. If we would have had
Oh,
the
yeah.
money
Oh, yeah.
back in
Count stone
08,
all
9,
over.
10, 11, we'd all be multimillionaires if we took advantage of the situation,
Yeah.
from real estate to everything.
Yeah, that's right.
But this was just one of the stories. But I mean, to end it with this, I'm so grateful. Like, not only from just it happening, but like our relationship, my parents, doing that, your parents not being ready to kill me. Because all I wanted at the time, I remember telling her father, like, "Hey, Amber did not do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at fault for all this." I took complete blame. I was like, "She's just the girlfriend. That's it." And I was like, "Listen, I want to clear my innocence. And I also want to just be a good man at this point forward."
Yeah. And I think one thing that I kept telling myself during that whole time was Your biggest breakthroughs come after you've had a breakdown. And even though we didn't want that breakdown and that traumatic experience to happen, it made us break through to who God really wanted us to be. And it made us dig deep and become during that time frame.
Yeah.
We had no other choice but to
No,
become
we did
and to
not.
come out on the other side. And we didn't allow our emotions to do anything but that.
Yeah.
So we are.
And
Even though it's hard. I mean, it's still hard for us to
No,
even
it's
talk
still
about
hard, but I'll end it with this.
it. Okay.
If you just listen to what we said and our emotional mess, because I didn't want to, I'll be honest, I didn't even want to talk about this or our podcast.
grateful you
It's
did.
still hard for me to talk about. I could do a 3-hour story about this.
Oh, yeah.
If I really went into detail, you'd see me bawling, crying, because it just hits nerves with me. But if you're ever out there and you're watching someone, please don't judge their past when you don't know the truth, because there were pictures and stories painted of us.
Yeah.
And this is 17 years ago, but it still bothered me.
Yeah.
And I would question,
Forgive that.
why did that person say that? Why did that person think that? Who's never spoke to me? Here, just come ask me. I'll tell you the truth about the whole thing. But they wouldn't do that, but yet they spread rumors. So if you're out there listening, don't judge a book by its cover. Everybody, there's two sides to every story.
Everybody that has achieved success at a high level has a story
Absolutely.
too. As we get older, it's, I almost want to go up to every successful person and be like, what is your story? Like, when was your breakthrough moment? And
Right.
whether we realized it or not, that was our breakthrough moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're grateful for it now.
So I'm grateful for you guys listening. That one was a hard one for me. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.